of classic Italian cooking. It's the 30th anniversary edition, and Victor is going to be here in studio. It's shocking to me.
Wow, last time we saw, he was here like 5 years ago, and he was already here. I mean, he was already looking a little bit old.
That's not very kind.
No. I'm saying
I'm glad to see you have a mean bone in your
wait,
body.
hold
Everyone
on
always
one
says
second.
I'm the mean one, but
I wasn't mean.
look at you.
Let me finish
Wait
my
till
phrase.
Victor comes and I tell him what
Let
you
me
said.
finish my phrase.
Savory pancakes, all the enticing possibilities here.
This is how accident happened.
I'm doing a class on 923, and it must not be selling very well because we're pushing it today on the show.
Yep. Let's sell some tickets.
What is the class?
Come see me. It's savory pancakes.
Savory pancake. That sounds delicious.
It is going to be delicious. I'm going to have some surprises there too. So
Oh.
I'm just saying, if when you look online under the hot stove and you read about the class description, just add 2 more, because Annie's got some favorites that she wants to put into the mix. Chef Annie, just saying. And lastly, of course, we're going to play Rob with Love trivia. And it's you and me against the 2 hot stove chefs over there, Annie Elmore and Bridget Charters. And Chef, I feel like we're going to kick some booty today.
Yeah, we will.
You think so? Yeah. I feel like we are going to come out on top. If anything, I'll just sit on them, And, we would definitely have won last week because Annie had laryngitis and she couldn't answer the questions. Okay, Chef, what is your taste of the week?
Taste of the week. I went to see Alice and Peter at their farm in Darrington. They used to be a supplier every year for many years of vegetables and eggs and stuff like that at both at Lule and Luke and Rovers. And went to see them. And Peter is Malaysian and Alice is Chinese. And they made us a wonderful lunch of Hunan pork and black cod schwan. And don't ever call me a Spice Winnie ever again, because I have actually graduated to baby on fire and nobody's moving out of the house. So I ate so much pepper.
There's an idiom there, I'm sure, but I just missed it.
Today, I was on fire at one time. I was like burning and I wasn't moving. I was like, I can't take this.
Yeah.
My lips, my tongue, numb. By the pepper and by the chili that were in the black cod that he made. It was super delicious. It was soy sauce, a little bit of water, a little wine. I mean, not water, wine. And then put the cod in there. Put the cod in there with, it had chili, very hot chili pepper and lots of Szechuan pepper, corn. And he cooked the whole thing together like very slowly like this. So the cod was like melting down, but the pepper are part of the sauce. So then he reduced it down a little bit. Put that all over the fish. Oh boy, was that warm.
Yeah.
That was hot.
And then people get confused because Szechuan peppercorn, it gives you a little buzz, but it doesn't give you the heat.
No, but
the hot chilies are what.
Yeah, the chili gives you the heat and the pepper gives you the numbness.
The numbness on your lips.
So it was like, it was an interesting, I mean, last time I had this was at Lionhead when I had the Szechuan dish over there. Was the same kind of impression, but and then the pork was really nice because he made the roll. He basically steamed the pork, the roast, not a roast, it's a steam pork, and then sliced, and then put all the. He takes some baby eggplant, and he took the baby eggplant with the skin on in a pan covered, and just cooked them on the stove like that, and they were delicious.
Okay, do I get to go now?
You get to go, yeah.
Oh, okay, good.
Or maybe we wait for the next segment.
My taste of the week was with you last night. We were at Jack's restaurant after an event for the Puget Sound.
Jack's Grill.
Jack's Grill over in Laurelhurst after the Puget Sound Farmland Trust event at the Horticulture Center. And it brought tears to my eyes. The food was fine, and I'm not at all dissing them or anything, but I ran into 2 former employees there. And every time this has been happening since COVID, when everyone got dispersed with COVID, when I run into these people, it just brings tears to my eyes. And I got to have big hugs, and there's no time to really relive anything, but God, Simone and Halo were there, and it was just like unbelievable to see people after 2.5 years when you had such a traumatic goodbye.
And they had nothing but grand thing to say about you.
Well, that's not the point. The point is just like it just makes me melt when I run into folks.
Of course.
And you run into them all over the city.
Mhm.
in different restaurants and different professions now. Gardening.
Yeah, when you disperse 800 people, you're gonna find them somewhere.
It's just, it's hard for me to take.
Yep.
Okay, up next, the farmers markets are full of the pale skinned sunshine yellow summer squash. What the heck do you do with it all? On Cairo Radio, it's the Hot Stove Society Show, 97.3 FM. Oh, you missed them. Halo was there. Simone was there.
It would have been nice to see them.
They were very, very sweet.
You guys all settled in now? Chef Annie, what time is breakfast? 9:30 or so? Can you guys wait that long, or do you need to call out for some Dominoes? Never. They want Pizza Hut instead, Chef.
These people have taste. They know better than that.
I was so sad. I saw the only KFC down by our warehouse in Ballard is closed right now. So
And you're sad?
makes me very sad.
I know.
I don't have a chicken sandwich for breakfast anywhere near my warehouse. Yeah, that's true. I get to that point where I have to eat something. You know, when you have a body like mine, you don't miss too many meals.
You invent meal, actually. What is the meal between 10 and 10:15? I don't know.
The good news is we have staff meal comes up at the warehouse at 11 because the team there starts early. And so yesterday when I walked, not yesterday, day before, chili dogs sitting right there, ready to go.
And you couldn't resist.
Couldn't resist. I couldn't even resist the second
It's
time.
funny. It's funny. You and I mean, I can be walking by a chili dog and I get no impression whatsoever.
I did not have the Fritos on top.
Oh. Well, that's refreshing to know.
Just had the chili.
You had the
plain
bread
chili
though.
dog,
You had
yeah.
the bread and the sausage. Right?
The Fritos adds the crunch though.
Whatever.
A little crunch.
Yeah.
Whatever.
My second one was plain. I just grabbed the hot dog and ate the hot
Oh
dog.
yeah, good move.
2 of them. They're nice. That was a little snack.
When you're going to the farmers markets these days, you're going to be inundated not only with zucchini, but with the bright yellow summer squash that we used to call crookneck squash because
right.
they used to have a crook neck. Now they've straightened them out a little bit. It's funny. Now they look more like zucchinis than anything.
Well, there is different kind, but you still find a crook neck in the market.
Yeah, mine. Like, ugh, what do I do with those things? So I'm Tom. This is the chef in the chapeau, Chef Terry. Terry, I'm going to let you lead this down a rainbow path because you love these things.
Well, I think you can't poo-poo them. This is what we have growing.
I'm not trying to poo-poo them.
in
I'm
our
just saying
backyard
that when you
right
have
here,
a
right
choice. Yeah, when you have a choice.
Yeah, I
That's
mean,
what I'm
we
saying.
do have a choice. You can eat fried chicken, or you can
Courgette.
go and have some yellow crookneck when
Yeah.
they're in season. You have to eat what's in season.
I get it. I do.
Work a little bit.
So what's your favorite way to have them?
Many ways. Number one, I would do a raw salad of crookneck, and that is if you have young, tender crookneck, you can slice them in half and then slice them again very thin, and then let them marinate in a little bit of vinegar, salt, olive oil, and marinate those zucchini, those squash for maybe 20 minutes on the counter. Then you add everything else you want to add to that salad. So you could add right now in the garden, I have a few radishes that have popped up again. So I would definitely do radishes because that would bring a little bite to the squash. It would give you some personality. And there's a lot of herbs to use right now. This is the time of the year where you start using all your herbs that are going to die in a month from now too. So, you know, the tarragon, the basil, the fennel.
Oh, your fine herbs.
Yeah, fine herbs. Yeah, and then you mix that with the bite and the soft, because the squash doesn't have much flavor in terms of personality into the salad. But if you have a bunch of it, mix it with radishes. Mix it. You could also do potato and squash salad. So you have small potato that have been boiled, cold. Cut them in small pieces. Marinate the whole thing together with the squash. And then you have a wonderful little salad on your hand with fresh herbs. Serve that for lunch.
You know, as I've, I used to kind of poo-poo these things that are little bit flavorless to me, like zucchini and squash. And as I've gotten more mature,
We'll discuss that later.
I start to think about them like tofu, right?
Yeah.
Where they are just vehicles for the other flavors,
Right.
and they're really more about their texture.
Correct.
And they add a little crunch, or they add a little softness in a tian,
Yeah.
or but they really are just vehicles.
Exactly. They're just, I mean, it's not any different than rice, than pasta, than everything. Many things that we have in our diet is a vessel, which is also why you keep the meal balance. Because if you only eat one of that item, if you only eat a big giant bowl of rice, which is delicious, no problem, but it's not very balanced of a diet.
And
So
not
that's why
very
you use-
flavorful as a
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it's boring also to eat the same thing, the whole meal, the whole thing. So that's why you diversify with that. Squash, the other thing you can do is grill them. I mean, this is the end. It's going to be the end of the barbecue season in about a month. Again, same time of the year. Take those squash, cut them in half, put a little bit of olive oil, salt, and pepper, and put them off the flame on a hot grill, so you can give them a nice char, and then you can use them as a side garnish to any grilled meat or fish or whatever. But you can also cool them down, slice them, and then put them in a salad.
Mhm.
Right now,
That
tomato.
would be, if you were going to give me an opportunity to use those, that's what I would do, is on
Yeah,
the
'cause-
charcoal grill.
I mean, right now tomatoes are blooming everywhere. So you do a tomato salad with grilled squashes. It's really delicious. Fresh herbs. Again, fresh herbs that are in your garden or on the farmer's market. You mix the whole thing together, and you have this wonderful fall salad.
Now, unlike the zucchini that you can get now, green or yellow, the crookneck, I find the seeds a little tougher. They're a little bit chewier than,
Right.
say, a zucchini seed. And I like to, when I've made them in the past out at the
Spoon them
farm,
out?
I have spooned out the seeds and
Yeah.
then filled them with a force meat of some
Sure.
sort, whether that's a little lamb sausage or lamb and apricot sausage. Put it in and just roast them in a hot oven.
Absolutely.
And
They're
the
great
fat
vessels.
just infuses into the squash itself from the sausage, and it is a good way to. Again, it's more, to me, it's more about the sausage than it
Right.
is about the squash, but it's
And
a good vehicle.
And if you want to keep it vegetarian, you can do like a rice and tomato kind of stew. Then you put into that zucchini and bake it like this with a little cheese on top.
Hmm.
Delicious little appetizer for lunch. Or it could be your whole lunch if you do enough of them.
Have you ever used them in a soup or anything like that? Because
They're not.
they break down in a funny way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they're also not that great. I mean, I think when I think soup of a squash, I'm gonna definitely go pumpkin. I'm gonna go butternut squash. I'm gonna go obviously to the more flavorful, sweet, delicious flavor.
But what about more like a minestrone, where you're having a mix of vegetables?
They're gonna
To me, you still
fold-
have to seed them and then use the body itself.
They're gonna definitely. You have to be ready for seed them, number one, but also put them at the last minute
Right.
because they're gonna fall apart.
30 seconds.
Yeah.
Because they're continuing to cook in that hot broth.
Right. It's
Right.
just. I mean, zucchinis are water. It's just like most of the those vegetables that grow really fast. It's a lot of water, so they fall apart really quickly. So in a broth, they definitely need to be put at the last minute.
Mhm.
But they're delicious. I mean, you also you can slice once you've grilled them, it makes a great once they're grilled all the way on both sides and soft enough.
And hard. A hard char
A hot
is what
char,
we're
yeah.
talking, right?
You can
They
put
do have
those-
natural sugars. It will caramelize.
Right. You can put that on a nice bakery, Dahlia bakery bowl. Then you have grill that on the barbecue as well,
Mhm.
and goat cheese, and put those squash right on top of that. It makes a beautiful tartine, open face tartine. I mean, simple, easy to make, and doesn't take very long.
Right.
And you can and when you grill the whole bunch of zucchini or squash that you bought, keep them in the fridge. All you have to do is flash it in your oven for about 2 minutes, and then they're gonna be room temp again. Then you put those on your sandwich. Cold, not so hot on that. Cold and cooked, no. But warm them up a little bit, so you have them in the fridge so you can use them over the next few days during dinner or lunch as a garnish.
First thing I think about when you said that on the boule is to drape a little lox, a little lightly smoked salmon or gravlax over top.
Those bowls are murder to me because I keep going there and buying 2 every Friday.
Hmm.
And it lasts me until Wednesday. Man, Thursday is a rough day at my house. I got no bread. It's a rough day.
That's a lot of bread, chef. I thought you were off the bread. What's going on?
Yeah, but that bread, it's just a hook.
Yeah.
It's just too good to be true. That boule is delicious. Oof.
When you're making minestrone and you have bread like that, if by chance you do have your charcoal grill going, to put some olive oil on there and char the bread on the grill until it has very dark edges,
Mhm.
and dipping that in your minestrone with
Mm.
lots of olive oil, a little parm, whatever. What a delicious lunch that is in the summertime. So,
I mean,
I would hate to start a grill just for the bread.
croutons.
God, it's so good.
Not me. I have no problem with that. It's a great base, talking about a base.
Mhm.
But yeah, the zucchini, I mean, the squash and the zucchini that are in the garden right now, definitely time to use them. And you can pickle them whole. I've done that a couple of times. Does not come out as good as you want it to be because the inside is really mushy. Yeah, because the seeds. So when you take them out of the jar after they've been pickled, you just cut them in half and seed what's inside, and you still have the outside. But not my favorite vegetable to pickle. Just another way to try it.
All right, we've got much more to talk about today, including a couple of segments on France, which oddly enough, I will lead this time.
Bonjour, Monsieur
Bonjour,
Tom.
yes, indeed. But first, we're going to get into garlic paste, roasted garlic, all the black garlic, all the things that you can do with garlic to kind of brighten up your sunshine day. On Cairo Radio, it's the Hot Stove Society Show, 97.3 FM. Are those Jackie's nectarines?
Well, thank you.
Aren't they good? When you feel them, it feels like they're not quite ripe. Yeah. They're so firm and sweet tart. Yeah. Yeah. The tartness, yeah. My wife grew those nectarines, and we're just happy to have them because when she went to go pick her peaches, they were just perfect. Somebody had stolen all the peaches off her tree.
Isn't that incredible? Somebody takes that much work to steal something. I'm like, you go rob a bank. It's about a 2-minute project. You go pick 1,000 peaches. I don't know who's got that much time. I'm thinking it's okay. No, we're gonna be fine. We're gonna spend 5 hours here.
Yeah, get out the ladders.
I know. Wow. What do we have in this quiche, Brigitte?
Where did you buy it from?
Oh,
Can you taste the secret ingredient?
corn. Mmm.
So it's a taco quiche. Yeah.
Delish. Those nectarines are really good. Why are you asking silly questions?
Yours
like that?
is way better, chef. Is that what you want to hear?
Wow. Don't ask questions if you don't want to know the answer. Hmm. Sean, are we still live on YouTube? Yeah.
All right. How we feeling? Everyone feels good? There's hot coffee over there. Ah. It's always interesting to me who listens to our show. I was at Tai Tung the other night by myself at the bar. There were only about 2 people in. It was 8 o'clock at night. This guy comes in his like a highway vest that he's been working on I-90, and he's a skinny guy, maybe 60 years old. And then he gets told that he came in like at 8:05 and they closed at 8 o'clock, so he couldn't get dinner. And he looked at me, and they have my poster on the wall down there, and they looked at the poster, and then I was talking with the owner, Harry, and he said, "I know your voice. You've got that kitchen show on radio." It's like, you would never have expected. And then he went on to tell me all the things that we talked about last week on the show. So he wasn't like just lip smacking. He was actually a listener and listens every week while he's out slugging on the I-90 on the railroad, the new light rail system. So yeah, well, thanks. But it's just funny. You just can't put baby in a corner.
It happens all the time.
Yeah.
All the time.
All
Sean?
right.
We're still Hostel Society radio show.
What time are we expecting Victor?
10. He start his segments at 10.
Oh,
Okay, so we'll get 2 more segments in before he gets here. We'll skip one and come back to him.
Okay.
I'm going to introduce him after this segment, though, or tease him. Welcome back to the Hot Stove Society Show. Tom Douglas here.
Terry Rotero, the chef in a hat.
We have a very lively audience, although they're stuffing their face right now with fresh nectarines picked from our farm in Prosser, Washington. Thanks to my wife, Jackie, for sending those over. So tasty. What do you like most about those nectarines? I can tell you what I like. They're
What I like
perfectly balanced.
Okay, that's exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah.
It's got the texture. It's got the acid, low sugar, which I like.
Uh-huh.
And I don't know.
Fragrance.
It's just
It's nice.
beautiful, and it marinates really well. You can tell it. You can put a little sugar around it, and it will be giving a little bit of that juice. And I mean, they're super delicious.
Yeah.
And they're not too big either.
No, they're not overwatered and yeah,
So they're really good.
which intensifies the flavor a touch.
Right.
Garlic. Let's talk garlic for a couple of minutes and
Garlic,
how
my
you like to
friend.
use it and what's your favorite way. And to me, there's some cheats on garlic that I think are reasonable in the marketplace. One is when I'm having a big dinner like Thanksgiving, where I've got garlic in a lot of different areas, I'm buying the bag of peeled garlic,
Right.
not the jar of
Right.
canned garlic that's chopped. But in the grocery stores now, the fancy ones in the produce department, they tend to have a bag like we buy for the restaurants that's
Sure.
pre-peeled and ready to go. And I love that convenience.
That's a very good convenience.
It's
The
awesome.
good thing about Thanksgiving is you get enough buddies around to have someone else peel the garlic.
Yeah,
That's the other good
that's,
part.
That's true.
But usually I start cooking way before they get there. So
Mhm.
you're right. You do need some garlic. But
So there's that way to buy it, and then the other one I mentioned to you, I think in the break was they have this new company that's got different kinds of herbs and spices and things like that that are frozen, fresh frozen in cubes,
Right.
for your freezer. And so if you want to go in and pull out, I think 1 cube is equal to about 1 clove of garlic. If you
are they
want to,
chopped?
it's all minced and ready to go.
Oh, wow.
And so let's say you're making a pot of soup and you taste it and it just doesn't have enough oomph. If you don't have garlic fresh in front of you, you just go to the freezer and you plop out a cube of
That's a good one.
this garlic or ginger, or I think they have, so I think there's some herbs, pesto or something like that they also have. But anyway, a convenient little way
That's very good
to buy your
convenience.
garlic these days.
And there is the garlic paste in tube. Then you can buy.
Have you found a good one?
No, I wasn't going to say I
Okay.
did, but
Okay.
not yet. But I'm looking.
Okay.
I just like I love the convenience or the idea of the tube. I think it's a very good way to keep things safe and fresh in your refrigerator for a very long time, which garlic paste is not something you use every day, just like anchovy paste, just like, certain things. And in tube, it keeps really well. But you're right. It's a bit of a fight to find something that actually really tastes delicious. I have the tube that I have in my refrigerator. Unfortunately, I don't remember the name of it, but it's a paste that I've used when I made tomato stew or tomato concasse, one of those two, and which is basically tomato stew. And put a little bit at the end, even though I already put some fresh garlic in there. Put a little bit at the end when I'm blending the whole thing to make a soup, and that gives it that last hoof now of the, you get a little hoof of
Right.
of garlic added to that. But as it's meant to be, which I think originally that paste is meant to put on toast and things like this. Not quite. I rather roast my own garlic, and because you got to, for some reason, my roasted garlic doesn't taste like anything like what's in that tube.
So for the home cook,
Yeah.
they're probably going to be using the tube, like myself.
You use garlic in a tube?
I do.
I've never even seen it. I got to tell you.
Oh
Oh, yeah.
my. Uh-oh.
Yeah.
So what would you recommend to take the time to roast garlic?
Well, yeah, I would recommend. Okay, so they'll make it sound like it's a big deal because roasting garlic is a pretty simple thing. Garlic cloves, you buy 4 of them, put them in your little toaster oven if you have one, or in your oven. You toss them, you put them on foil, whatever, because it's gonna drip. Just put that in the oven, 350 degrees. Put the timer on 45 minutes, and come back and see what happened later. And go watch your movie, and then and I mean, it's like it doesn't take anything to roast garlic
No.
in the shell. When you do it like this, all you have to do is get rid of the loose leaves around, put that in the oven, and you'll have roast garlic and clove in the skin.
and
all
keep
you
it
have
in
to
your
do-
refrigerator.
Yeah, and then but before you do that, no, you can't even do better than that. You take it out of the oven, let it cool down a little bit, and then squeeze the charming out of the garlic clove. The puree comes out. You have the same thing you have in your tube, except it's raw garlic. It's fresh garlic that you just roasted, and it doesn't take much to do it. Just put that in a cup, put a little bit of olive oil on top, so there is no air contact to the garlic puree, and you can save that for weeks in your refrigerator.
All right, I'm sold.
It is not one of my favorite flavors, roasted garlic.
Well, it's
I find it a little kind of annoyingly pungent. You
Well,
know
I-
what I like these days is toasted garlic.
yeah.
So I take garlic and I will chop it, give it a quick blanch, just a minute, take some of that prickly kind of acid
Right.
off of it, and then I slow toast it in olive oil
Sure.
and until it gets golden brown, and then I strain it and drain it,
Right.
and you can use it as a sprinkle on just about
It's
anything.
a different way to do it, yes, and it's different flavor. It comes out differently in flavor for sure. But roast garlic is good. I disagree with Tom on that. I think roast garlic has a place somewhere. But like if you do, for example, a roast pork, and at the end you deglaze your onion that has underneath, you take a little bit of white wine, deglaze that whole pan, let it, come to a boil, add some fresh herb, and then put a little bit of that garlic paste in there, the garlic puree that you have, and then finish with a nice nugget of butter or some olive oil if you don't want to do butter. You'll have a wonderful little sauce on your hand to just drizzle over your pork.
What have you done with black garlic these days? So
I have
black
some-
garlic is like roasted garlic. It's just over a much longer time at a lower temperature.
Well, black garlic depends. It's not, I mean, you can just ferment black
That's
garlic.
what I'm saying. So what have you done with that?
I usually put it into, again, soups. If you do, like, for example, we're getting into the squash season soup, butternut squash coming up. It's a great item to add at the end of a butternut squash soup. Once it's ready, you put your pepitas on top, your toasted pepitas or something like this. And you could even put a little goat cheese. I like goat cheese in my butternut squash soup. But take that garlic paste or black garlic, and then slice it and then put a whole bunch of it into your soup.
Mhm.
It's a great addition. Black garlic is very mild. It's mild and sweet.
Mhm.
So it's a very good addition to your soup. Sea salt finish right on top. Finishing sea salt, and it's really delicious.
I like how it brings color contrast too. I know that's secondary, but
Right. But no, it definitely is a beautiful contrast
Yeah.
of color. But
Mhm.
more importantly, it's a nice little contrast of flavor too. And black garlic, again, it's the kind of stuff you put it in your refrigerator, keep it with your vegetable so you can remember every time you take the vegetable, then you have this black garlic over here to use, but it lasts for a
Yeah, I see it.
very, very long time.
I'm seeing it more and more in grocery stores,
Right.
and yeah, all
Yeah, because
done
it
for
lasts.
you.
I mean, and it doesn't change flavor. You know, it's one item that, I mean, I don't know, I haven't tried 10 years, but you know, I've had black garlic in my refrigerator, probably some of it all the way up to, 8 months. No change in flavor
Mhm.
because it's already fermented. It's already at a stage of life where I don't think anything ages anymore. So it doesn't change. All you have to do is keep it wrapped up.
And so, would you agree with me as our listeners are thinking about garlic? Almost always, unless you're going to roast it or do all manipulate it in that kind of way. Almost always, if you're using fresh garlic, I like to use it either in layers. So when I'm starting the dish and then when I'm finishing the dish.
Right.
But if you're going to just do it one time, it's no longer than 3 to 5 minutes to the before you're done cooking. You just
Right.
don't want to.
You don't want to
It goes
overcook.
away. 80% of the flavor kind of goes away as it cooks, and so if you want fresh, bright garlic flavor, you have to put it in at the end.
Yeah, the idea then often you see people starting their dish like a tomato stew, for pasta, whatever, and they start by putting the garlic in the pan. I always cringe. I'm like, oh, then they put the onions, then they put the tomato, and I'm like, that garlic is gone, baby.
Mm-hmm.
It's like by the time you eat, it's like it's not garlic anymore. There's no flavor.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, Tom
Well, it
is
does
right.
have a flavor, but it's a
Correct.
in-depth flavor.
Yeah.
It's not bright like you sometimes want garlic to be.
Correct.
Yeah.
If you're looking for that garlic flavor, you definitely need to put it closer to the end. And even cook it on the side. Cook it gently in olive oil on the side. Add it to your sauce at the last minute.
Mhm.
Put that on top of your pasta, and you'll have everything fresh and bright.
All right, we got a treat coming your way next. It's the 30th anniversary of Marcella Hazan's Essentials of Essentials of Classic Italian Cooking, which is like a combo of her first two books. And Victor Hazan, her husband, is here to talk about it. It's a brand new 30th anniversary edition, so it's something we can go out to the stores and get for holiday season.
Looking forward to talk to
Yeah,
Victor.
exactly. On Cairo Radio, it's the Hot Stove Society Show, 97.3 FM.
Hopefully, he will show up. It's like he's here.
When was I supposed to talk about France?
You said you were going to talk about it now, but
Oh, now, but I just did the wrong thing, didn't I?
you just introduced
I
Hazan.
missed it. So, Amy, I missed segment 3.
France.
Miss Producer.
I was just saying that. I was like, oh, he's going to talk about it after. I thought you mixed it and you wanted to do Marcella.
Didn't we miss it, right?
Yeah.
We did garlic first instead of segment 3. All right, let's do segment 3.
Sean?
I think when I came out of the squash, I went right into garlic.
It does. It's a bigger font. It does look.
Ready, set, Sean? We're going to go back and do segment, hour 1, segment 3. And we're back. Parlez-vous français, chef?
Oh oui, je parle français. Et toi?
Moi. Say, si, oui.
Oui. All right, you're going back for 5 more weeks.
Just back from a trip to France,
Uh-huh.
almost a week in Paris, almost a week in Provence. Took Hercules with us. Running around France with an 18-month-old is quite a journey.
You forgot.
I
You
sort of forgot.
you gotta
we
remind him.
lived with him for 6 months, from 6 to a year, so I didn't forget. It just changes your trip, right? You have to plan naps. You have to do everything is around the baby schedule, and so as it should be. That's what happens when
no,
they're
of
that
course.
age. That doesn't last forever.
No,
He
it goes
should-
actually really quick
yeah,
in terms of time, but
Yeah.
when you're there, it's definitely different.
super fun to walk the streets of Paris with him. Everybody loves to stop and talk to the baby.
Of
That
course.
I felt very popular because he and I would go out on stroll abouts down to the park or this
Jardin
to
du
the shop
Luxembourg.
or go have espresso or go to a wine bar. He was quite the terror in the wine bar. Knocked over a stool, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So, but
How old is he
when
now?
you're 18 months old, you can get away with
18
murder.
months, yeah.
Yeah, you can get away with anything.
This is a great thing to say in America. I took my 18-month-old to a bar.
You go everywhere. I mean, it's part of the reasons, in my opinion, that we have such struggles in this country. We eliminate so much of life
Correct.
because it's not appropriate for this age or not appropriate. If it's just normal,
It
it's
has
normal.
never happened in anybody's history that an 18-month-old walked up to a bar and said, "I'd like to have a whiskey."
hmm
That has never happened.
hmm
Put that in context.
So anyway, it was fun to be out and about with them. The brasseries, everyone takes a turn to take him for a stroll because he can't sit there for that long, and you try not to
It
drink too much
changes.
rosé and all that sort of thing. So super fun. My favorite restaurant in Paris, we did all kind of old fashioned stuff. We
Uh-huh.
didn't do anything like stars or anything like that. But poulet au pot. Did
Poulet
you
au
ever go? Yeah,
Poulet au pot.
yeah. Classic old Parisian restaurant. I guess it's now being attended to by a Provençal chef. I don't remember his name, but he's got his brand there. And it was, I think, probably our best meal. We had
Classic.
between two classic restaurants, Cru Bourgogne and Poulet au Pot. It was good. It was like chicken pot de fou was their main dish, right?
Yeah.
So, and then of course we had to have the low foie, pate, and good baguette, and it was good fun.
I think it's poulet au pot, not poulet.
Poulet
There's no
pot.
T at the end of
No?
poulet.
Yeah, whatever you say, chef.
Poulet au pot.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Anyway, so those were two of the better meals that we had. I love epinard in Paris or in
Oh, yeah.
France because you can just get a big pile of spinach, which is something that
Épinard.
I adore. So it's kind of hard to find vegetables
With a little
sometimes. but-
cream? Or
No.
No cream.
No.
Okay,
I
good.
don't do the cream spinach. I do just the simple saute.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or
It's good.
steamed and sauteed. I think you see that quite a bit, where the epinard is kind of like steamed as a prep item and
Right,
then
right.
kind
And
of
then
sauteed
saute at the last
Yeah,
minute.
Exactly.
Brown
So,
butter.
yeah. So delicious. Strolling about the streets of Paris, crepes,
Oh, yeah.
a lot of crepes everywhere.
Falafel.
Falafel. We went to the fancy, not the fancy falafel, but the busy falafel place here in the Marais.
Marais.
No, I could tell you the name, but I don't remember. But the
No,
first
The area is called the Marais.
Marais, sorry.
Yeah, it's okay.
I didn't know I was getting a French lesson today. I thought I already had
Well,
that.
if you're going to be
over
talking
there.
about France, I'm going to try to give you the right name
know,
so people
exactly.
know where you are.
So lots of crepes. I found it astonishing, and Victor Hazan just walked in. He'll get a kick out of this, I think. But every menu of every restaurant, whether I was in Paris or in Provence, is burrata with tomatoes. I say, am I in Italy or am I in France here? What's going on?
Well, the borders have been broken a while back, in case you
Yeah.
were not aware. And,
Yeah.
Globalization and travel is not the same as it used to be. When I was a child, I'm from the west side of France, small town. We never heard of balsamic vinegar. I lived in a small town village. We didn't know about balsamic vinegar. We didn't know about most of the things Italian because they didn't come all the way to my hometown and we
No,
didn't go there.
We ate local.
It would take 3 weeks to get to Italy by horse. Anyway, so we didn't know. So, and when I started traveling through France as a young age, when I started working in different parts of France, that's when I discovered there was balsamic vinegar. And the first time I had balsamic vinegar was actually when I came here to the state in Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, holy, this is delicious stuff. What is this?
Well, I just thought it was a bit odd to have it so prevalent and it's obviously prevalent here in the States. That's what we do. We rip off every other cuisine in the world.
Right.
But I just hadn't noticed it in France as much.
Well, I think it's called a trend.
Yeah.
Something gets hot on the market and everybody jumps on the bandwagon.
Mhm.
And quite honestly, there's not really anything wrong with burrata and tomato when the tomatoes are delicious in season. And
Okay,
you know-
so then we moved down to Provence for 6 days. We had a house in Saint Remy de Provence, and it was lovely, beautiful, hot, stormy. We had some great thunderstorms. But the food was fine.
it was not that impressive.
Well, like I said, we had a baby with us, so there's no star restaurants. There's no
Right,
sitting
right,
down for
right.
3-hour lunches.
Well,
We
you don't
went
need-
to Beau to look at that old town up in the hills of Beau.
Oh, yeah, Les
yeah.
Beaux de Provence.
Mhm.
I was just there a few months ago.
Yeah.
Did you go to if you go to Les Beaux de Provence,
It's a little late. Don't tell me what I missed.
too bad.
Okay.
Should have asked me.
Okay. I did ask you, Chef.
I
if
didn't know you were
remember.
going to
Yeah.
Les Beaux. I mean, it is.
Anyway, so we went down there. But the food was just a little bit lackluster. It made me dream of Italy.
Right.
It's just the simplicity of Tuscany and
Well, there are a few places that I would say are definitely geared towards American tourism, and few cities to name: Aix, Avignon, Saint-Rémy de Provence, Nice. There are definitely some places where Saint-Tropez, those places are very much ready for international tourism.
right.
So it takes a little bit away from, you have to get out of that.
So where do you go then? You're in Provence. Everyone wants to go to Provence. When you say I went to Provence to people, they literally swoon.
Yeah.
So where are you going to send them?
Well, smaller towns don't.
I went to
No,
Saint Rémy's not like a
it's not
metropolis.
a big town, but it's
No.
very touristy.
Very touristy. Yeah.
So you got to get out of that tourist town
hmm
to go into a smaller town where people will live normal life
hmm
and they're not.
And what
affected.
food would I look for then? Because what we found, I mean, we're near the water there, fairly close to the water. Of course, in France, you're often close to the water.
Right.
But what would I look for from a classic Provençal meal?
Well, in Provence, it's gonna be similar to Italy in this time of year. You're gonna have tomatoes. You're gonna have. It's summertime. When you were,
Mhm.
it's summertime. You're gonna have the same ingredients all along the Mediterranean, pretty much, between the anchovies, the olives, the tomatoes, all those different kind of ingredients, and olive oil everywhere.
Great olive oil.
Very inexpensive, very delicious olive
Yeah.
oil. Good breads, good stuff like that. So it's a much lighter diet in the south of France,
Mhm.
in general. So it's not like you don't go get a cassoulet in Provence.
No.
You don't
no.
go get
Especially in the summertime.
and above Bourguignon. Those classics are for more inland and more in richer areas.
Lots of seafood stews.
Lots of seafood stew like bouillabaisse and stuff, and
Mhm.
fish soup
Mhm.
and stuff like that. So yeah, you'll see a lot of that. Now the talent is obviously the same as everywhere else. It's moving a little bit, and you don't have to go to a star restaurant to eat good food. You just have to converse with a local to be able to know where to go for a good dinner. And it's a problem when you go for only 8 days in Provence. You don't really have time to make too many friends in Provence. But I would recommend doing a little homework beforehand, trying to get some head start.
That takes the fun out of it. We like that. We like that last minute stuff.
All
All right, when we come back, let's talk garlic and garlic paste and roasted garlic and all the good things that you can do with that delicious ingredient. On Cairo Radio, it's the Hot Stove Society Show, 97.3 FM.
Bonjour, monsieur. Bonjour.
Ça va? Chef,
Mr. Hazan, nice to see you.
I hope I can hear everything you're saying.
Well, come on up. We're going to move you to this chair a little bit closer to us.
well, we can move the mic to him.
Yeah, would that be, is it all right if,
I don't think it's going to go that far. No, we have to. Victor, if you wouldn't mind moving to this chair here.
Not at all.
It's okay, Sean. He's got it.
Yeah, it's already tripping you over there. Terry, do you want to go around and move?
Yeah. How is traveling around going?
Well, I'm managing. You know, I'm very old. I'm 94.
You're 94 years old.
Yes, sir.
You look much younger than that.
Well,
Wow.
I just had a
See, I
shower.
was trying to explain that to Tom earlier. I said,
Uh-huh.
last time we saw you here, I know you were already of a certain age.
Yes.
I didn't know how old you were, and he didn't let me finish. He goes, "Oh, you're calling Victor old." I'm like, well, Victor is not young. You know, Victor is definitely old, but that doesn't mean anything bad. We all are aging, you know. But you're looking great.
Well, there are parts of me that are in very
Why
good
not?
condition. I have an
We want
excellent
to promote
memory.
Chef Shop.
If I
You big
understand
weenie,
what
you big
somebody's
weenie.
saying, I can
You're on the
respond,
radio.
I think, sensibly.
Right?
But I have very low vision
No, just Terry and I are on camera.
and very poor hearing.
You're not wearing any glasses.
No, I wear glasses for reading, but it's still very difficult. At home, I have a reading machine,
Oh.
and I
Actually,
have
you're
a
going to come
special.
over here on this mic.
Make sure.
Hello, darling.
Hi, you want your water?
I have a special app that
Awesome.
that reads things
Oh, you can leave
on the computer.
Yeah.
And a very nice girl's voice reads things on the computer.
Just looking.
That's
But
good. It's nice to see you again.
yeah, I'm very happy to see you.
Thank you so much for coming with us.
Oh, it's a pleasure.
Appreciate that.
Hi. Nice to see you too.
I'm glad you guys got your book
See, I
yesterday.
got my
That was-
coffee.
Okay, good.
This is not.
You guys are getting casual more and
This
more.
is not the way it looked the last time I was here. Though.
It done?
No.
Yeah.
It's exactly the same place.
Ah,
What are we? 10 years now? 9 years? Yeah,
Yeah, so
More than that.
he was here for
right towards the beginning.
Ingredienti. Is that what he was here for last time?
I don't remember.
It's at least 5 years ago.
2008.
What?
2008.
No.
Couldn't be.
No. He was here about
Oh,
5 years
2008
ago.
was Amacord. 2000.
All right, here we go. Welcome back to the Hot Stove Society Show on Cairo. We got another full hour to come your way. Hopefully you're in your garden or in your kitchen or in your car, all thinking food and what you're going to drink for dinner. I having just come back from France, rosé is on my mind.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I had a lot of rosé over there, especially down in Provence.
Yeah.
It's just so natural to have a little rosé with your lunch.
And, $3 a bottle is a very good price.
I'm not sure where you were shopping, dude, but it wasn't. We've got food for thought, tasty trivia that's going to wrap up this hour. Spend a little time on some savory pancakes. I'm giving away 2 tickets to my class on the 23rd for savory pancakes here at the Hot Stove. So,
Nice.
If you tune in, Amy's going to figure out how we're going to give those tickets away. And but first, we're going to jump right in. We have a guest of honor here at the Hot Stove today. Victor Hazan is here celebrating the 30th anniversary edition of his wife's Essentials of Classic Italian Cooking re-release cookbook. Welcome to our show, sir.
Thank you very much. I'm happy to be here.
Pleasure to have you. We also have Eliza from Chef Shop.
Hello.
Are you taking Victor around town
I
today?
am taking Victor around town today, and he is going to be doing a book signing at Chef Shop on Tuesday.
Oh, perfect.
So
So if you've never been to Chef Shop, it's the cool yellow building. Does it have a green stripe around it?
Yeah.
Yeah, yellow building with green stripe right next to the Seattle Fencing Center. And by fencing, I mean sword fighting.
Really?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
yeah, right next to the Seattle Fencing Center and Holy Mountain Brewery there on Elliott, right?
Yep,
Is
right next door. Yep.
right there. So if you're ever going north and you want to take the right to go up to Magnolia over the bridge or to the cruise ships, you're right.
right there.
You're right there where Chef Shop is. So Victor, like
Yes,
I
sir.
said, this is a classic tome. It's when I was reading about it, I didn't realize honestly in my head that the two first books had been put together to make this book.
That's correct.
Yeah.
That is, we have, Marcella did. She selected from the first two books
Mm-hmm.
the recipes that she had discovered people were happier cooking or had more to learn from. And so, really, it's the best of what was the best at that time, the classic Italian cookbook and more classic Italian cooking. And then Marcella added a lot of information. This is really a fundamental introduction and reference
Mm-hmm.
to the methods and values of Italian cooking. And I think what Marcella has done and what is in this book delivers is to bring the values and the methods of home cooking within the reach of anyone who really wants to cook. It's not about restaurant cooking. It's not about professional cooking. It's about the kind of cooking that has sustained society, and in this case, particularly Italian society, for a couple of thousand years. And what Marcella's genius was in taking a hold of this canon of home cooking, and she recast it in her own terms. I don't know if you're aware that when we got married, Marcella was a student of science. She was working on her second doctorate degree in Italy at the University of Ferrara, and her ambition was to be a teacher
Mm-hmm.
of the sciences, particularly botany, biology, but particularly botany. And this is significant because Marcella trained her capacity for observation to a degree that very few people have. But when we got married, she had never stepped into her kitchen. She was part of a middle class Italian family in a small town on the Adriatic. Her mother cooked, her grandmother cooked, both grandmothers cooked. Her father was a marvelous cook, and there was a little girl working as a maid who also did a little bit of cooking. So Marcella didn't have the slightest intention or interest or even space to get into the kitchen
Mm-hmm.
and start cooking. However, when we got married, she came to this country, and there was no mother and no father and no little girl from the farm.
Necessity of life.
So she had to roll up her sleeves and go to something she'd never seen before, a supermarket, and pick out things that didn't look like any food that she had ever seen before in an Italian market. And that is how she has taken the cooking of her youth, the cooking that she grew up with, the cooking she experienced at her family's table. She took those flavors and she recast them in a way that she could cook them. And the way she could cook them, anybody who really has the patience and intelligence to follow her instructions can cook them. Anybody can do good Italian cooking if they're careful about it.
And she has many recipes in this book that are 3 and 4 ingredient recipes. So
Right.
it's not
Yes.
difficult to follow along. You just have to be a good shopper. One of the things I love most about the the markets in Italy and France where I just was, is that
Yes.
the opportunity to buy great ingredients is much more prevalent there.
Yes.
Not as much now with our great supermarkets like Market or having Chef Shop around, but certainly for fresh meats and cheeses and fish,
Right.
that's important. So when we come back, Victor, for our next segment, I'd like to talk a little bit more about Marcella when it comes to the foreword that you wrote in this book. And it's one of the
Yes.
things that's probably
Okay.
different in this book compared to the first one, the re-release. But some of the things about Marcella I did not know. Basically, she was one-armed from a young time, from her younger years. She was up on murder charges. I mean, there's just some great little tidbits in this foreword that I found amusing. So I'm sure she didn't find them all amusing,
Yes.
including boiling a human skull. When we come back on Cairo Radio, it's the Hot Stove Society Show, 97.3 FM.
What a great exit on the cooking show,
Right.
including
The
boiling
How do you
a
leave
skull.
that?
You gotta come back. You gotta come back and listen.
It's been 17 hours. The cranium is boiled. The flavor is out.
Now you gotta reduce.
We're on time there? Yeah. Okay, good. All right, you ready to go again?
Yep.
Okay, let's do this. Welcome back. It's the Hot Stove Society Show on Cairo. We're having a ball here in the kitchen, sitting here chatting with Mr. Victor Hazan, the husband of Marcella Hazan, and we are talking about the essentials of classic Italian cooking, 30th anniversary edition. So it's a re-release, but there's some other tidbits in there that I just love. Eliza's here from Chef Shop. You
Hello.
jump in anytime you want, because what I love about Chef Shop is it's on my way to and on my way from home to my job.
So
And
you get to pass us every day.
I do. And you have the best orchietti available, in my opinion,
Oh,
in
thank you.
town. So.
Thank
And you
We'll
have a
try
book
pasta.
signing with Victor
We
next
do.
week.
We do on Tuesday. It's a little bit difficult. The best thing to do if you want to sign up for a slot to come by and say hi and get your new book signed is to go to our website and search on essentials, and you will see the 3 different time slots, opportunities to
Yeah.
come and pick up your book and come say hi to Victor and have him sign your book.
Good. That's super fun. Terry, I'm not trying to hog all this,
Oh,
but
no, no,
I
no,
was
I'm-
reading this forward
Yeah,
here
I want to
that,
hear all
that
about
Victor
that.
wrote. And Victor, I love the fact in a couple of pages you went through Marcella's youth a bit, of how she got to be who she is and where she came from, including the time during World War II when she was brought up on murder charges of a Nazi officer. Can you tell us a little bit more
Yes.
about that?
Oh, yes. That's a family story that we told each other many times. Marcella, during the Second World War, Marcella's father knew a great deal about farming because he had a small farm of his own. And a syndicate had bought a very large property near the Lake Garda as the war was about to start, because they understood that one of the things that was going to be most difficult to get a hold of was ingredients for food for the
Mhm.
table. And they were going to grow their own. And they hired Marcella's father to run the farm. So as a young girl, she grew up on this large farm on the shores of Lake Garda, but coincidentally, not very far from the farm, the Germans who had taken over Italy established their high command. And so there was a lot of explosions going on, bombs falling,
Well, German
partisans
and Allied forces.
shooting their guns, people dying, people being carried to the cemetery, cadavers going to cemeteries. And Marcella at that time was taking her course at the Lyceum, which is the Italian version of a super high school. And one of her courses was human anatomy. She had to take a test at the end of the course. And in order to take the test, she had to study the bones of the human anatomy on a cadaver, on a skeleton rather than a cadaver. And her professor said, I have a skeleton that I can give you. Unhappily, I can't give you the head, but you can easily get one. And Marcella said, I can get a head? Where? I said, oh, there are lots of them. Go to the cemetery and make friends with the grave digger. People are being brought in, cadavers are being brought in all the time, and you'll find a suitable head for you, which she did. She got this head and she brought it brought it home, told the professor, and the professor said, well, what does it look like? Marcella said, oh, well, it has some hair on it and the mustache. He said, well, if you're going to study it, you have to remove every single hair follicle. And the only way to do that is to boil it. And so she said, okay, you know, on the farm, they had very big stock pots.
Yeah.
So she plunged it into one of them and started boiling it. And she had a boyfriend, and I wasn't around then. And she wrote to him and said, guess what I'm doing? I'm boiling a man's head to get his skull clean so I can study it for my exam. Well, the censors read the letter.
The censors, the German
he,
censors.
he was
yeah.
in the army, and at that time, all that kind of correspondence went through the censors. And so they pulled it in. They said, this head with a mustache. Do you know that a short while ago, a German officer with a mustache was killed by the partisans and buried in our cemetery? She said, well, no, I don't know anything about that. I just went to the cemetery and they gave me a head to work with. I said, well, we're very sorry, but this is very suspicious. And so she was brought before the court. Fortunately, the judge was an Italian judge rather than a German judge. And he wanted to be understanding. And he said, well, Signorina, I have to understand what the situation is. How did you happen to get a hold of this head? How do we know it's not the German officer who disappeared? She said, well, I don't know anything about German officers, but if you get the gravedigger in, he'll explain it to you. He'll tell you exactly how it came into my hands. And that's what happened.
Mhm.
Gravedigger came in. He persuaded the judge that Marcella knew nothing about killing German officers. And the judge looked down his nose at her and said, Signorina, this is a very serious time. And we're engaged in very serious business. And I don't want to see any more of this funny business of boiling heads. Please take your skull and go home and don't even think of coming back here. And of course, she
And
did.
from there to a three
Yeah, that was
ingredient marinara
Yeah,
seems the perfectly
I know, it's like-
natural.
That was the
That was
first.
the beginning of her cooking career.
That was the first stock. That was the first stock she'll ever made.
That's right.
yeah, she could have been shot.
Yeah. We only have 2 minutes left. Do you have favorite recipes? I know she must have cooked for you often. What do you miss the most when you return to the kitchen and Marcella is not there anymore, but you must dream about some of the things that she made?
I'm sorry.
What's your favorite recipes? What is one of your favorite recipes?
Oh, excuse me. You know, my hearing is lags. So many favorite recipes.
But we only have a minute.
You know, my birthday, I'll be entering my 95th year and not too long from now, on October 20th. And Marcella, for my birthday, used to make what I consider to be the food of the gods. It was lasagna. It was handmade egg pasta, several layers of it, about 11 layers, very thin layers. She used spinach with it too, which made it more flexible and more delicious. So 11 layers of spinach pasta interleaved with bolognese meat sauce, of which she was an absolute master, and porcini mushrooms.
Mm. It is a
And-
great secret ingredient.
I'm sorry.
That sounds so delicious. I think that I will make it in your.
That is probably my favorite dish, except I had to wait a whole year usually to get it again because that took a lot of work. Many of Marcella's recipes, as you observed, are very simple, irreducible, 2 or 3 ingredients, and you needed to add nothing else. But this particular dish, the spinach lasagna, that took a lot of time.
Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing
Yeah,
that.
thank
Happy
you so much
birthday
for
coming
sharing.
up. Happy 95th.
Happy 95th.
We enjoyed having you on the show today. And
Thank
again, Eliza, Tuesday, there's some slots available at Chef Shop to have a chat with Victor and get a book signed.
Yep,
Yes,
just
I
search.
hope a few people will come in.
Yeah.
Because I will enjoy saying hello to them.
Yeah.
Yeah, just search on essentials in the search field and they should come up.
All right. Up next, we have Savory Pancakes. It's time to give away 2 tickets to my class coming up next week for and about Savory Pancakes right here on the Hot Stove Society Show 97.3 FM. We're all done.
Thank you so much, Victor.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
All right.
Eliza, thanks for coming down.
Yeah.
Good to see you.
Thank you.
You-
Treasure.
Another sip.
He comes to my shop sometime. You never come.
I live on a part of town that does not allow me to go to 15.
No,
It takes me 5
I
days to
need-
get there every time. I'm like,
I need to see. the
I've driven
name
in
on a
front of
piece
your shop, I wanted
paper,
to stop,
because
but I'm
otherwise
like,
I won't be able to do it.
I don't go in that part of the world very often, only because
You ever work anymore?
such a, from Madison Valley, such a, especially right now with all the construction going on everywhere.
Yeah, up near the co-op up there. It's just crazy.
The whole
Anything between
Madison.
11 and 12, right?
And then it's not just Madison, the U District, all my route to go to Ballard is a mess. Mate, believe me, I want to go, but just, when it's that kind of, anyway, no excuse. Hey, how are you doing? Nice to see you.
Society? Thank you.
Do we need to do this in a different
No, you're
location?
fine. We only have 2 segments left. One is to talk about savory pancakes. The other is to kick Bridget's butt in trivia.
And believe
That would
me,
be hard.
Oh, and Annie.
believe me, she's up for the challenge.
And look at her. She's winding up right now. She's starting to get.
Hey, you saw me on the
baseball diamond.
Yeah, I did.
I wish I could stay, but I have a date with my daughter who I never get to see, who's here from New York.
Oh, nice.
Oh, nice.
So I'm going to go see her for a moment. Oh, but I'm going to drop him down at Lola's, and he's going to hang out and maybe have lunch down there.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Today is
Yeah.
Today,
September.
September 16th.
Bridget, you want to go down with them and get them set up at the bar at Lola?
It's
Or
my
at
mom's
the table?
birthday tomorrow. She's going to be 83.
Thank
Ah,
you.
Table's fine
nice.
now. Okay.
Thank you.
You ready?
Yes,
I'm going
ma'am.
to say happy birthday to my mom. Honey.
She could be watching us right now during
You want
dinner.
a signed book too, any of you?
I'm all good. I'll
Okay.
try and come by the shop.
Clara.
Mille grazie. Arrivederci.
Ci vediamo.
I hope I'm still doing the radio show when I'm 95 years old. I won't be, but I'm just saying. Jeez. Unbelievable.
Okay. Well, I'm going to have you say that. So you want to bring them back over and.
Savory pancake, also known as crepe. Thank you very much. Just kidding.
No,
Eh.
these aren't really crepes, but it would work, I guess.
Yeah.
Zucchini pancake.
You're excused.
No way. No.
So good.
Yeah.
Shredded zucchini, feta, egg.
Okay,
on.
okay, you're putting feta too. That's good.
Bring that up when we
Yeah,
ask you.
yeah, yeah.
Delicious.
Do you remember how close you have to be to the mic?
You
You haven't done this in a while.
I know. It's
You
been a
missed
long
a segment
time.
in the first hour.
Yep. Sorry,
Here,
Pam.
they barely can hear you. Here, you sound so sexy.
All right, it's the Hot Stove Society Kitchen on Cairo. Tom and Terry coming your way. Chef, I've got a class coming up here on the 23rd that details savory pancakes. And I know I'm going to be cooking some latkes with crab meat. And
So how many
I'll-
different type of batter do you make?
as many as I want.
Yes, of course.
That's part of the surprise about this class is that, you know, when we set these things up months in advance, it's like, okay, yeah, I'll do this class, blah, blah, blah. But then as you get closer to the class, you have to start thinking about what is
Sure.
exactly going to be happening.
Beer butter?
Sure, why not?
Sure.
We're going to do the
Okonomiyaki.
okonomiyaki. I can never say it
Yeah, I
right.
can't say that either. But
I love that. It's a cabbage and shrimp and bacon pancake from Japan. And I just love that. We used to serve it at Tanaka-san, and it was very popular and
I remember
very
that.
good, delicious.
Mm.
Lots of Kewpie mayonnaise on there. You have a favorite pancake? You immediately go to
I'm a-
crepes.
yeah, I was using that as a because in my head when I think pancake, instead of pancake, I'm gonna think crepe because I'm French and
Mhm.
I'm gonna use that as a vessel to be putting stuff on it. So you can have rolled crepe, but you can also have a open face crepe, which would be very similar to a pancake. The only difference is it's a very thin pancake.
Mhm.
So whatever you're gonna put on there is to be, fitting to that. So
Right.
roasted chicken, first thing that comes to mind is roasted chicken, sauteed mushroom, squash. Put all this on top of the crepe, little goat cheese crumble, flash it in the oven for just a couple minutes, and then eat that just like you would a pancake, except it's a crepe.
But it's also lunch.
It's also lunch, yeah.
I mean, that's a
Yeah.
big crepe.
Oh yeah, but
We
you
had
could- I
several
mean,
crepes, and they most of the time there were the buckwheat crepes, which
Right.
I really like better,
I
especially
had
in
my
a savory
favorite.
way. Yeah, and so we had ham. I had one with the French andouille, so
yeah. Oh wow.
very potent, very strong of chitlings and
Yeah.
and innards.
They do
Uh,
boudin noir, they do all
mhm.
different kind of thing. But yeah, it's a very the buckwheat is very different because it's got such a strong flavor. It's very different than the flour crepe. It's not sweet, number one. Number two, it's got a little bit of that bitter from the buckwheat. It's got that savory aspect to it. So you can marry that very easily to
How
all
do
kind
you
of savory thing.
how do you make crepes? And I know the answer to this, but I'm going to ask you to explain. But several. I had crepes 4 times. 3 times they were too greasy. So how do you avoid that problem? To me, it was on the griddle, on the crepe griddle. They were probably using too much butter or oil.
Yeah. I don't, for me, when I make crepes,
Uh-huh.
the butter is melted and goes in,
In the batter, yes.
And I only grease my pan once. I'm going to make 50 crepes. I'm going to grease my butter once.
Your
the
pan
pan.
once, because the batter continues to grease it as it goes
Correct.
along.
It's in
yeah.
it's in the batter. So when you put it in the pan, especially if you use a non-stick pan, you don't need to put any butter.
Mhm.
I mean, that's to me, that's another way to avoid having. You're right. I've had that many times also in France. They put too much butter because they take the crepe pan and they just lather
Layer-
with butter.
Yeah.
So then they put the crepe, and their batter doesn't have as much butter in it, which is
It's
why
very lacy. The batter
Right.
was very
this
lacy.
is why it holds so well on that pan with the butter underneath.
Uh-huh.
Because if you put butter in your batter beforehand and you add butter to the pan, your batter is going to start moving around and
And
be
breaking a little bit.
breaking a little bit
Yeah.
because too much fat.
Yeah.
So I don't add butter, and my crepes are not greasy, but they're just lovely little thing. And the reason that I was using crepe as a pancake was because I have leftover. When I make crepe, I obviously make a stack of crepe. You obviously don't always finish it, so you have those leftover crepe in the fridge. So you take them out the next day and try to think about. You have to think taco. You have to think pancake. You have to think in kind of that frame of
Mhm.
vessel, and then you just marry that with that. I mean,
A pancake that I'd like to make, it's not on the list at this point, but I think I'm going to try and squeeze it in, is the blue cornmeal. What are those called? Papusas
Oh yeah.
from Ecuador, I believe they are from, and where you have different kinds of savory fillings.
Right.
You can go not egg, but bean and cheese,
Right.
or you can get as fancy as you want with lots of different carnitas or whatever, and then you just simply pan fry those until your cornmeal is cooked.
I must say then a green onion pancake to me is probably the first base I would start with any pancake. If I was making pancake for the first time, savory pancake, I would probably start with a green onion pancake. And
So that's the Chinese version.
yeah. Very simple. First time I made
I
it.
don't think they're simple.
No?
Not for the average, because of the way you have to roll them out.
Oh,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
The ingredients are simple, but
Yeah.
you have to then roll it, and then you have to twist it, and then you have to roll it again. And
Right. Oh yeah, maybe it's a little practice. Yes.
Yeah.
But the batter is so delicious. It's
Oh, it's so
Okay.
good.
such a great vessel to nothing. You could just have it by itself.
Yeah, that and a little chili crisp or something is
Yeah.
perfect little snack.
Shrimp.
The other
First
one I'm
thing
going to
I-
make is egg Foo Young, which
Oh,
is an
yeah.
all-time favorite for me. Except for I don't love it down in Chinatown where it's done in the old-fashioned. You have to have plenty of grease, but it doesn't have to be
Buried in it.
buried in it, and then in a greasy soy sauce gravy when it comes out is
Right.
typically what happens. So
Yeah, that's good. But also, pancakes, you get sweet pancakes this time of year. This is, I picked all those blueberries not too long ago at Pig Farm. Those frozen blueberry, they do great on pancake.
I'm making savory pancakes. So how would you turn that into a savory pancake?
I would use the currant, the rose currant that are on the market right now, and I would use that as instead of blueberry, and that would make a savory pancake. And that would,
Because they're more tart.
oh yeah, they're tart, very tart. Or huckleberry also are very tart. If you don't add sugar to huckleberry, they're definitely tart. So you put huckleberry and spinach. That makes a great combination. Put that into your pancake.
What about blini? You usually make those for your New Year's Eve class.
I know.
Yeah.
I love blini, those little
Delicious.
buckwheat pancakes to go with a big dollop of caviar.
Mhm.
We would put those in our class, but I like a big dollop of caviar.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So it's unaffordable. I only do that once a year.
But that's
But
what
their
it's supposed
blini are yeasty and
But it's
Yeah.
supposed to
Tasty
be
and
once a
good.
year treat. It's not something you eat every weekend. I mean,
caviar.
yeah.
Yeah. Tell my wife that. No, just kidding.
It's funny because
You
I'm
explain
the
it to
same
her.
way. I'm like, I can eat caviar every day. But
Well, when you have the restaurant where it's sitting there every day,
Right.
I bet you do have a
it's
little.
easier.
Yeah.
Uh,
Amy, go
I
ahead.
haven't been buying caviar every day since I closed my restaurant. I tell you that.
I'm sure the Seattle caviar folks miss your order every
They
week.
do. My
Yeah.
weekly order.
Tell us about how somebody can win a prize of 2 tickets to my savory pancake class.
Yeah, we just posted about your class on our Instagram at Hot Stove Society. And in the comments, why don't you tell us your favorite savory pancake?
Okay.
Mm.
And
And
we'll pick the winner.
so you're going to pick it from what is the criteria do you suppose that you're going to use?
Most delicious, scrumptious description about the savory pancake.
So it doesn't have to be an outlandish kind of recipe,
Mm-mm.
but more it's how you talk about the pancake.
Yeah,
that you-
sell it.
Sell it to me. And it goes on the menu next week.
Yep.
Well, it might if I can figure it out. It
Extra
might.
caviar.
Yeah, it might. So, there's so many good pancakes.
I mean, it's not. Where do you go? What restaurant do you go to for a good pancake?
Well, for say the green onion pancake, I
Yeah.
go to a little place. Looks like it's closed all the time, but it's not. You actually just have to go through the door and
You have to open the door.
Yeah.
They don't open it for you.
no, but it's like I mean, it was boarded up a lot for the last couple of
Uh-huh.
years, and now they just kind of keep it closed. Looking, Szechuan Noodle Bowl has a
Oh,
good
yeah.
green onion pancake, and they have the sambal elect that they serve with it, so it's super spicy if you want it to be, and it's they have good dumplings and good green onion pancakes. And Xiao Ching Chow's book has a good green onion pancake recipe in it
Oh,
here.
yeah.
That if you come to my class, I'll even give you Xiao
Wow.
Ching's book that has the green onion.
You can get delicious leek pancakes at Judy Foo's Snappy Dragon. Delicious.
When you go to this frozen food aisle, it's a Shoreline Central Market or something.
Uh-huh.
They actually have 3 or 4
Yeah.
different frozen green onion pancake options that
Oh, I should try
are
that.
delicious. They actually cook up beautifully. You just have to be, you can't go too hot.
Right.
Because they'll brown before they cook all the way through.
Right.
So if you put them on medium heat, get it hot, but if you put them on medium heat and cook them and brown them on both sides, really.
So they already rolled and everything.
Oh yeah, they're flat.
Oh, nice.
They're flat as a pancake.
Oh, wow. Look at that.
Yeah.
You can buy it already done.
Yeah.
That's a nice one to know. Never bought that. I'm going to try that.
Yeah. I to me, that's a perfect little vehicle for chili paste.
Good thing to have in your freezer.
The other thing about green onion pancakes, going back to that, is, or even latkes or something, you cannot be afraid of fat, because part of the deal is getting that crispy edge, that lacy edge on your latke, the lacy edge on your crab Foo Young, right? Not so much on your blini, but you can't be afraid. Just drain it when you're done.
Yeah.
So
Put it on the grill. Don't put it on a piece of parchment paper. Put it on a dripping grill.
you mean
Dripping.
like a cookie cooling rack?
Right, cooling
Yeah,
rack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would agree with that. But I feel that way about everything.
Right.
It's like when I'm resting a steak, I never put it on a plate.
No.
I always put it on a cookie rack so that the air can go around it. Because if you put the hot side of the steak on a cookie rack, it just steams underneath there. It can't release the heat.
Right.
And that's what you're doing. You're resting it to release some of that heat. Same thing with pancakes. You
Yeah.
are correct.
Anything doughy will become soggy underneath.
Crispy rice cakes. Love
Oh.
those. Yeah. Okay, it's time for Food for Thought Tasty Trivia, brought to you by Rub with Love Spice Rubs, available in 5,000 retail outlets across this country. So let's do that when we come back. On Cairo Radio, it's the Hot Stove Society Show, 97.3 FM.
I have 2 more questions for Team Annie and Bridget if you wanted to do
7
7
each.
for them.
Okay.
Or 7 together. You
What do
want
you
to
mean?
do,
You should have 15 questions right now.
yep,
So I was suggesting that if we're going to go teams, that we just do 7 on each side.
Well, that's 14.
Right. So we don't. I understand.
And if we
We only
tie,
have 15 questions.
we'll have a 15 question for
Yeah,
Taya.
exactly. For tiebreaker. Does that make
Okay.
sense what I'm saying?
yep, so I meant adding 3 more.
It's
No, you don't
instead,
need to add
no,
three.
instead of 3 teams, we have 2 teams. You know what I mean? Instead
You
of
have
3
15
people
questions
playing.
right now,
I
right?
have 17.
We only need 14
Okay, 14.
because you're going to ask Annie and Bridget 7 questions, and you're going to ask Terry and Tom 7 questions.
Oh, I gotta change.
So now we
the
have a
hard ones
question for a
around.
tiebreaker. If we
No,
want.
don't change the question.
All right.
She's already like, oh, I need to change the question.
Did Annie just run away? Come on, you losers!
I love how they just ran away just on time.
I'm not running away.
You ran away. Amy's.
I don't know what she's at, so she's out.
She's probably in the walk-in, or she's down talking to Victor.
We thought you ran away, get scared.
We already had to corral her because she ran away. You ran away. It's like,
We like got him seated in the lobby, and they were, "Oh, so neat." I'm like, He's sitting at the bar. He's waiting for you. Poor Terry.
Okay. We got to do the tasty tree. Is somebody giving him anything? Taking.
Yeah, well, he's all set. Yeah,
Okay.
He's at the bar. He loves the sausages. He's gonna get an order of the sausages.
how does he know that he loves
He
me?
remembers. And he goes, Tom has nice toast.
Toast or toast?
Toast. Oh, he goes, the bread, the Monday. And I was like,
I like Annie. The
I hope
toes.
they actually toasted for him. It's my biggest issue is they don't toast anything hard enough anywhere, including my restaurants.
All right, next subject.
To toast or not to toast? To the queen.
Annie, do you want to be Annie today or Edna mode?
Definitely Edna mode. I feel like
You have to wear your glasses.
I'm feeling like a superwoman.
You have to wear your glasses if you're going to be Edna mode. Anybody here know who Edna
I'm
mode is?
2020.
Her new
Oh, they're
haircut.
just fake?
Her new haircut gives. There we go. Now turn around. Turn around. Now that we're Edna Mode from The Incredibles.
She doesn't need them. So we're going to do.
All right. So Amy is going to ask us 7 questions. 7 questions. If it's tied, she has a tiebreaker question. He is.
I'm playing with him.
Well, you guys teamed up. What's wrong with us teaming up?
Oh. She's feisty over here.
I heard about Tara. Did you see Tara's slide? Woo.
I have it on
You
video.
have it on video?
Nah.
No. It's more about. I just want to make sure she showered before she baked bread again because she was in a pile of dirt.
Oh, yeah, when you
A
slide.
plume came up when she slid. Ask her
You
about it
couldn't
when
even
she's
see
over.
her.
See what?
You couldn't even see her.
I know.
I was requesting designated runners.
We had our company softball tournament. We closed all the restaurants on Monday, so we had a little company softball tournament. I had to hold Hercules, so I couldn't play. Mhm.
Nice.
You didn't even show up.
Designated winner.
I don't think you want me to show up.
I did want you to show up.
That's why he wanted you to show up.
All right, we're here in the kitchen. It's time for Hot Stove Society Food for Thought Tasty Trivia, brought to you by Rub with Love Spice Rubs and Sauces, made right here in Ballard. As chefs, we're always looking for unique ways to build flavor, and a pantry stocked with spices is a valuable tool. Our Rub with Love blends have a wide range of flavor profiles, so why not collect them all? There's only 20. Come on. Come on. You can purchase Rub with Love all around the country in grocery stores and in specialty stores like Sunset Foods with 5 locations in the greater Chicago area, Marcus Foods in Whitefish, Montana, or Northwest Food and Gifts in McMinnville, Oregon. We welcome you to visit any of our locations for the full line of products, including Seatown Rub Shack and Fish Fry, or right here at the Hot Stove Society here in downtown Seattle, or at Ballard. Our Ballard location has them all also. So there you go. Amy, will you tell us how to play the game? We're 2-on-2 today, which is a little unusual.
Mhm.
And who's going to win and blah, blah, blah.
All right. I'm going to ask each of the teams today 7 questions. And the winner, what are we going to give away?
We're going to give away a 3-pack,
three-pack?
of I'm assuming it's somebody here in the audience. They're going to have to draw straws.
All right.
They can build their own 3-pack.
All right. Perfect.
You want to decide who that is?
Oh, that's.
No, you have to have. Yeah, let's use skewers.
Okay,
or that
perfect.
pencil. We can just throw that pencil and see who it points to, or who it sticks in.
Let's do a beer bottle.
Perfect.
All right, here we go. All right, right there with the glasses. Yes, okay. What's your name? Shelby is going to be our winner today. She gets to make her own
Yay.
3-pack of rubs. All right, let's do this.
Okay. Ladies first.
Mm,
Why?
I like
is-
that already.
Yeah.
For some reason, normally those are my questions. I'll be checking that out.
That's the hard one.
Why is pound cake called pound cake?
Because the ingredients are a pound of the
You are correct.
Did we introduce our players?
Oh,
Annie Elmore, chef here at the Hot Stove and future executive director. Is that right?
Look at
Just
her
kidding.
face.
And
She
Bridget
hasn't gotten
Charters.
the memo yet.
And Bridget Charters, another chef here and presenter at the Hot Stove Society.
Former director.
Pam's going to be so mad at us. I'm messing up.
Okay.
Okay, second question. If you ordered an affogato, what would you get?
Okay, all right. Don't screw it up.
If you ordered an affogato, what would you get?
Ice cream and espresso
Correct.
Well, we have dissension on the
I
team.
know, I
I like
love
it. I like it.
You almost spagato.
Oh.
All right. Choux and phyllo are two types of what product?
Go.
Is there a certain dough?
What's that?
Is there a certain type of dough?
Repeat the question, please.
Choux and phyllo are what type of product?
Pastry dough.
Correct. Wow, that's great.
Where did these questions come
Pamela Hinckley.
Yeah.
3 for 3. 3 for 3.
What is the USA's favorite flavor of ice cream?
Vanilla.
Correct.
Oh my God!
Did
Do
you know
we have?
that? I
Do we have any?
Rocky Road or something. Go ahead.
Really? Where you come from?
Which is the only U.S. state that grows coffee beans?
Wait.
Correct. All right. What two words were combined to make the word spam?
Ham and
Ham and
what's the SP? No.
Spaghetti.
No.
Spot on.
Spa food.
Spuma. Like
spumante.
No, no.
Is that your final answer?
Spumante.
Why
It's only a 2-hour show,
love
so
this.
take your
Spuma
time.
is
Yeah.
puree in Italian, but that can't be right.
Spumante ham. I like that one.
Okay, let's move on.
All right. The correct answer is spiced ham.
Oh.
That's
we
too
would-
All right.
Don't even
That's
know
too
that,
bad.
Tom.
That's too bad that you guys missed that.
6.
Okay, last question. What is the official state pie and my favorite flavor of the state pie of Florida?
Key lime.
Correct.
Yay.
All right. 6 out of 7.
All right, you're going down.
Not bad for a couple of hustlers.
What?
Wow.
It's like Paul Newman when he was playing
Oh,
pool.
Yeah.
I don't. Is Annie old enough for that?
No.
No.
Okay. All right, gentlemen. Corn has
Jackie
become.
The hustler was Paul Newman and Jackie Gleason, wasn't it? Minnesota Fats and Paul Newman, I think. Yeah.
Here you go. Little
Much
trivia.
too young.
That's 1 point for us. All right.
Nice one, Amy.
Corn has become the most common food consumed in many parts of the world and mostly the standard diet of the people. What are the second and third most common foods?
In the world or in the
Wheat.
States?
In the world.
Wheat would be bread. So
Rice and I would say rice and
rice and wheat is
yeah,
bread
rice and wheat.
That's correct.
There we
Wow.
go.
Wow.
Terry pulled that one out.
He said it
Okay.
first.
What are the top two most popular spices in the world?
No, I noticed just as an aside that when you ask them questions, it was like one thing. And for us so far, you have to have 2 answers.
That's
for
why I
everything.
picked all the hard ones out
Yeah.
of this.
Great.
Yeah, all,
Hey,
all,
look
all have S's next to it. S's in every single one of them.
Top 2 spices in the world?
Yep.
What do you think, chef?
I'm gonna go.
Is black pepper a spice?
Yes,
Yes.
I would say black peppercorn. And I would say what's the other one?
Well, there could be cinnamon.
Cinnamon, nutmeg. Let me think. Cinnamon, nutmeg.
Bridget,
allspice.
you're on my team. Not
I would
their team.
say probably cinnamon.
Final answer?
Yes.
Okay, the correct answers are pepper and mustard.
Mustard. I should have known that.
I wouldn't know. I wouldn't think mustard's
know.
a spice.
Well, it is.
Seeds, bark, seeds,
Oh, okay.
husk, or
So
spices
either way,
versus.
they did not get
So we got
that
it right, is
answer.
what you're saying.
No.
We get half of it. That's a half
Okay.
of
I
it.
wouldn't have thought of mustard
Okay.
though.
What percentage of peanuts is found in a standard jar of peanut butter?
Standard jar being Jiffy or Skippy or that kind of standard jar?
Standard.
What's
of
the percentage
peanuts.
of peanut?
Percentage.
Well, I know they add
Percentage.
sugar to those.
Right.
Unlike a natural jar, which is what
And
I
I'm pretty sure
TV
it's at
nuts.
least
sea salt peanut butter.
probably at least 15% of sugar, maybe even 20%.
I don't think it's that high. but
Really?
There's
Well,
salt
peanut
in the
Sounds high.
salt and there's sugar generally.
Okay, so 10, 15.
I will say 95% peanuts.
I would say 85.
Okay, so 90 is our number then.
Okay, 90.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Every jar of peanut butter must be at least 90%.
Ah, way to work it out, team.
Oh, way to pull
Way to work it out.
Wow.
Yeah.
Cannot believe that.
Okay. Let's see. What do Italians call maize?
Polenta.
Correct.
Bum.
Which country eats the least amount of meat in the world?
I know that
I know
one.
that one.
You know that one?
Yes.
Which country eats the least?
I'm going to go maybe India. But maybe not. She's making a funny face. The judge over there. The judge over there.
Poker face.
Isn't
I
India?
was trying to, and then I went.
There's a lot of
funny.
vegetarians in India, but there's also a lot of vegetarians in Bangladesh.
It's a
too.
big country too. So the country that no, I would
But
stick-
all that tandoori meat up north.
yeah, that's true.
Nepal. How about Nepal?
Is this your final?
Yes.
It was India.
Ah.
Oh!
Ah.
I was right.
Okay. Sixth question.
Winning.
What is the
know
name
winning.
of the Egyptian dish that consists of lentils, rice, macaroni, and chickpeas?
Wait, there's a
Um,
dish that includes all five
King
of those.
Tut
items?
minestrone.
It is called koshari, and I googled it after, and it looks delicious.
It's
Okay.
got all of them.
Sorry.
Boy, that's like.
Yeah.
There's an
Well,
esoteric.
Yeah.
Do you want to do your final
Like,
question? You
that's
did
a lot
lose.
like what's the best or favorite flavor of ice cream in the world? Those are equal weighted questions.
Oh, what's
right
an
there.
affogato?
Okay, what's the last one?
Okay, last question. Where and when was the chocolate chip cookie invented?
No samples, nothing. Like that's it.
Well, we know it was in a toll house.
That part is correct. It was in.
Toll House Inn. We know that.
East Coast.
Whew, how far back do we go?
I'm going to say Ohio or Connecticut.
I'll probably go Connecticut.
All right, let's go Connecticut.
All
And
right.
the year is
year?
probably
Oh, they have to do the year too.
and the name of the person with the phone number.
Some lady.
Like,
What's
great.
their website?
I'll look it up for
I
you.
would
Okay,
say,
tell us what it is.
All right, Massachusetts in 1930.
Ooh,
Massachusetts.
I was going to go
1930.
older than that.
Jeez.
Close enough.
That was lovely. Thank you for kicking our patooties.
Three
we really
against
Thank
six.
appreciate
you,
that.
Amy, for
Nice
that.
job,
Yeah.
Shelby.
We really appreciate that. You know, it is our show. You're not supposed to humiliate us like this.
We're the champions, and you're not.
We're
Oh!
the champions. You have to sing the song, though. We are the champions. This show is produced by Amy Richardson today in place of Pamela Hinckley with assistance by Chief Dolly Parton fan. That's you, Amy Richardson.
That is me.
Sean McFadden is our technical director, and editor is Sean Don't Call Me Dottore. Remember, if you miss any episode of our Hot Stove Society show in Cairo, you can listen via podcast. Just subscribe with your favorite podcast app.
Thanks for listening and have a great weekend.
All right, quiet on the set, please.
If I don't go like this, they didn't do it.
All right, now we have to be quiet. Hi, I'm Chef Tom Douglas.
And I'm Thierry Roturo, the chef in a hat.
This afternoon on the Hot Stove Society radio show, we talk about summer squash success. Punch up your pantry with garlic paste and roasted garlic. I'm reporting a bit on my French trip, and Victor Hazan, husband of Marcella Hazan and the famous cookbook writer, will be here to celebrate the book's 30th anniversary re-release.
Yes, it's a wrap. Thank you so much, everyone.
Nice job, Amy.
Thank you, YouTubers.
Bye, YouTubers.
10 people watching.